What's up, everyone? I'm Coach D. Hey, make sure you share my content, subscribe to my page. As we get closer and closer to this election, we need more honest media being shared. So you know how we always say that with Republicans, every accusation is an admission of guilt? Every single one is. So recently, they have been talking about how the Biden administration and Kamala Harris are withholding funds from Georgia and North Carolina and Florida because they claim that these are more red districts. They're claiming that they're putting politics over people, right? Well, recently, Donald Trump literally said those things out loud. He didn't even try to hide it. He is basically saying that he is going to do to California what they are accusing Democrats of doing to Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, and other states that are being affected by these hurricanes. Again, every single accusation is an admission of their own guilt. They're doing it, so they expect that everyone else is doing it. But it's pretty damn pathetic that Donald Trump can actually go to a rally and say this out loud and no one holds him accountable. I've said this many times, I'm going to say it again. We have a very irresponsible, inept media in this country. Donald Trump says a lot of things that are absolutely untrue. They're blatant lies. They're not him misspeaking. They're not him forgetting. They're blatant lies, and they do nothing about it. Then he goes and says, I am going to withhold funds from California if they don't do what I say, and no one holds him accountable. Watch the video.
We're going to take care of our farmers. We're going to take care of your water situation, and we'll force it down his throat. And we'll say, Gavin, if you don't do it, we're not giving you any of that fire money that we send you all the time for all the forest fires that you have.
So let's be clear here. He says, basically, if Gavin Newsom doesn't do what he says, he will withhold wildfire funds from Gavin Newsom. Those funds are not for Gavin Newsom. Those funds are for the people who are affected by these wildfires. So Donald Trump wants to withhold money that will help people get their basic needs when they're at their most vulnerable time. These people need food, water, and shelter, and Donald Trump is going to use it as a political pawn. These people need first aid. They need first responders. Donald Trump is saying, you're not getting any of that if Gavin Newsom doesn't do what I say. He is making this about him and Gavin Newsom when it's actually about the people who are affected by this. He is telling family members, a husband, a wife, and their 2, 3, or however many kids, you are not going to receive any help if your governor doesn't do what I say. He is basically doing exactly what he is accusing Democrats of doing. He is telling Gavin Newsom, do what I say, or I will allow your people to starve to death. I will allow them to be hurt. I will allow them to bleed out or whatever. I don't care. You need to do what I say because I'm Donald Trump. This is what we're up against in 2024. This is why it's so important for us to get out and vote on November 5th. This guy is not an adult. He is looking to become president, for 1, to stay out of jail, and for 2, to enact his revenge on every single person who has ever crossed him. This is why it's so important for us to vote on November 5th. And as I've said many times, make sure you vote. Make sure your parents vote. Make sure your children vote. Make sure your neighbor vote. Make sure every person that you know votes. Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in their heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.